and welcome to the first episode of the Brand Playbook. Well, the live stream version of it.
Live stream version.
There you go. All right, everyone, if you're just tuning in, let us know where you're tuning in from. I'm here in beautiful sunny San Diego, and Brandon, you are.
I'm here in sunny San Diego too, where it's a little bit cloudy today, but it is still a good day.
Okay, great. So we've been talking about this topic for quite some time now. Do you want to lay the foundation for us and let us know where this conversation is headed towards today?
Yeah, so we've been talking a lot about, especially AI, taking over a lot of the content space digitally. And a lot of people have been seeing so many different types of content every day. And I think more people are trying to get a little bit tired of seeing those stuff. And people are craving more and more in-person experiences, especially what we're seeing this year. And I'm pretty sure it's going to probably grow over the next year. So in this conversation that we're about to have today, we really wanted to dive down into how to make reality becoming the biggest moat that you can have, especially when it comes to pairing digital strategies and content all the way to combining it with in-person experiences for you and your brand, and how you can execute that very well based on the stuff that we're seeing and also things that we've done. So I know we've done a lot of plenty of events, and we're planning on doing a lot more events in this next year. I just wanted to share with everybody what we're thinking about, what we're going to be aware of, and have a cool conversation.
Love it. Okay, so let's start off this conversation about how AI is impacting brands today. What are your thoughts about that so far?
I think it all started when Sora attacked a while ago. I don't know if you remember that. But
I
I
feel like, I
think
mean,
as
it's probably only last year when it flooded all of the internet, and then now it's just it feels so long ago. Like it feels like it was 10 years ago, but really it was probably just 10 months ago, which is kind of wild to say.
Right, but I think that is like the core trigger of what is this? In terms of a lot of people are like wondering why are we doing this, right? I don't know about you, but it was fun for like 1 or 2 days doing something like that. But once we start seeing a lot of these AI content flooding the internet, especially when it comes to video, a lot of people are starting to tune out. Like, okay, people want to crave that authenticity, that realism, and we even see that in the content that we create for all of our clients, right? A lot of the content that's been performing well are the content that always talks about their opinions, things that can't be replicated, can't be duplicated, um, things that sometimes is like a hot takes of their own, background stories of who they are. So I think people are craving this authentic feel because of AI has been populating a lot of the internet. And when you take that a step further of what can't really be duplicated in a way of like, graphically, right? That's when
Yeah.
we kind of get into these in-person experiences. What are your thoughts, Stephanie? I'm
Well,
curious
I
about
mean,
yours.
in the wise word of the great philosopher Missy Elliott, often imitated, never duplicated. And I feel like that's the biggest difference that makes a difference is AI can make a lot of these cheat sheets, these workbooks. But I think as a founder, when you are able to share your experience of hey, let me tell you a story, or let me tell you how I handled this situation back in my 20s. And looking back now, this is how I would have done it differently. I feel like that adds a lot more weight to just kind of here's a checklist. It's
Yeah.
more about, I feel like AI in general can't really speak to the human psychology of things, like what happens when you're trying to negotiate a deal and all of a sudden your blood starts pumping through your body and your brain completely freaks out. You're like, "Oh my god, how do I handle this?" right? I feel like AI can help coach you along the way, but when you start to speak from your own experience, that's what kind of makes you more memorable, more relatable in that sense versus just here are facts. And I think you and
Yes.
I being in the business of creating content for a lot of our founder led brands, it's, I mean, facts tell and stories sell. And so being able to take that human experience and add it back into this is who I am, this is what I stand for, these are my values, and I'll die on this hill about this particular thing.
Right, and everything, as you said, like everything can be scripted, very easily generated with AI nowadays. As a wise Tyler Mounts, one of our friends, said, AI tends to lead us to average, right? Like if you're just like relying on it when it comes to your ideas, it becomes very average. The script become very average, and it kind of follow us to where we are today and what we're going to be talking about today, which is that in-person side of things. We've seen a lot of companies doubling down, investing in in-person experiences. We've been hosting Margaritas and Mingle for the last 2.5 years, getting people to see each other in person, and there's just nothing you can't beat that, right? Like even though it's like hard to scale, I guess, but these hard to scale tactics are what is going to be the biggest differentiator, because they see you taking the work and you're actually putting this as, there's an effort, a human effort to do this, which is very interesting. The effort is what makes people care.
Yeah.
Sideline story, I think when we were watching The Odyssey, the most recent movie by Christopher Nolan, if y'all haven't seen it, right? A lot of the marketing isn't really much about the story itself. The story is like 3,000 years old. Everybody knows the story. We all read it when we're like 7th, 8th grades, right? But the fact that they documented that behind the scenes, what it's like to the difficulty of crafting this story and carrying the big old IMAX camera. It's like people wanted to see it because, wow, this is like, it takes a lot of people that did all of this work. And I think it's the same with like in-person experiences. It's hard to do, to gather a lot of people in one room. Everybody's busy nowadays, right? Like, how do we get people to want to spend time with us effectively and strategically?
That saved the day. So thank you. PS, by the way, shout out to Restream, because it's one of those things where it will multicast on multiple platforms. So if you're just tuning in, again, let us know where you're tuning in from. We're live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Did you put any other secret channels?
Secret channels? Not yet. That's pretty much it. Maybe one day maybe next week we'll do it in Instagram too.
I love it. So if you're just joining us, we're talking about like how to really stand out in the era of AI, because as you know, it's so much easier to create content these days. But what's the difference that's going to make the difference as far as scaling and generating leads for your business? And something that has really worked quite well for us, as well as our clients, is actually creating like these live in-person events. And you've been talking a lot about like Margaritas and Mingles. One of the other ones that we had just recently was we had the, you did this with Canbar Digital over at Expo West. And instead of just like recapping the conference after it happened, you created an in-person experience where founders could actually come with their CPG brands and actually demo it on site. Well, you actually, you helped coach them on that a little bit. Do you want to cover that a bit?
Yeah, we'll talk about that. That was super fun. That was at least my first time in Expo West, and number one, there's a lot of people there. So we didn't know if you all have been to the Anaheim Convention Center. There's multiple spaces. We actually got lost in the beginning trying to set up where to find our booth, and I think with that many crowded people in the trade show, the question becomes, how do we stand out? Like, we are, a marketing agency partner that wants to work with these brands. A lot of these booths are brands itself trying to get in touch with retailers. So we're already odd one out as a marketing service there. So how do we invite people to want to talk to us, right? And previously in a trade show, you just have like a little desk, maybe have little flyers, be like, hey, here's what we do. But we took that, I guess, like 10 steps further, where we kind of created this set. We created this almost like a kitchen boho style set where a lot of brands can just come in, whether it's their founder, whether it's their team, or whether if they don't want to be on camera, they can have one of us to be able to just talk about it, talk about their products. And because it's so interactive and they're getting something out of it, which is a free video, it becomes, I think like the hottest spot when it comes to our hall that we were at. Because at one time we even have like, I think 6 people waiting in line. We didn't get on camera, but it was like really cool because like we were just bouncing back and forth because we have some of the Can Bars team like trying to demo certain projects, and then there's me trying to demo certain products, and it becomes a very interactive and fun, I think, key experience where we're still getting value. So when we can combine that fun and value, that's when it really took off.
And I think what was really nice about it too is obviously this was a lead gen strategy, and you could have, if you wanted to, as an exhibitor, just email all of the attendees, the brands that attended Expo West, right? But when you create this in-person event where they get to know you and they kind of get like this free trial of like, oh, so if I were to shoot content with you, Brandon makes it easy because he could learn my product in about 30 seconds and he could do this. Or I can see, feel, and hear how comfortable he makes me if I had to do a founder story. And so that was one of the things that we did as far as like creating this in-person event. Again, Canbar approached Fortino Studios and was like, hey, we want to do this thing. Maybe we're thinking of just doing like product shots. And you're like, no. We're going to make this an experience. We're going to set up the whole production. We're going to have a background. We're going to have lighting. I mean, I feel like even times we were just kind of like, hey, can we push the envelope a little bit and like get some hair and makeup done?
Yeah, and I think it's pushing that idea, right? Like really, it's not the easiest idea out there. Like, yeah, we could just create a standstill product photography video or photography studio there. But when we take it a step further, we had to build the set. Like, I think I remember Zach and the Can Bar team the day before, they had to build the counter, the kitchen counter set. Like you have to screw things together because it came in a box, right? And then when we got there, us and Victor was like, we have to set up all the lights, figure out how it's gonna go, create all this proper signage for it. So behind the scenes, it takes a lot of
A
effort
lot of
to get
effort.
that done.
Yeah.
But it ended up being such a memorable experience that is fun, and still being able to capture that in person kind of a vibe to it, while still getting the content out of that.
Yeah. There's something about, meeting people in person, getting to know their names, what their challenges are, and then being able to solve their problem on the spot. I feel like for me, it just kind of like tickles the brain and it gives me more reason to keep in touch with you, because when you do follow up, when you do send the assets after the actual conference, they're like, oh yeah, we did that. Dang. We went to this conference thinking that we had to do this, but then we came out with like five videos, a founder story, a product demo, a live taste. Like now they're just like, wow, if we could do this in the 30 minutes that we spent with Fortino Studios and Can Bar Digital, just imagine how much extra content that we can create. But having said that, let's start talking about this moat that is kind of breaking the barriers, because obviously, like even LinkedIn now, if you guys are watching on LinkedIn, let us know, because they have this new feature where if you get like any type of sense that something is quote unquote AI slop, you could report it as AI slop. And so I feel like what people are now trying to just kind of like break through that is these in-person events. And so you shared with us about this study about the reset to real. Do you want to go over this a little bit?
Yeah, I'll go over that a little bit, but I think the data says it clear. Like a lot of people are craving that in person, just face to face feel to it. When you can just talk to a human, kind of like this. I know we're doing it digitally, but it's still like that connection. You can demonstrate your expertise right away. There's nothing to be hidden. There's nothing behind AI. What do you call it? Like an AI kind of layer to it.
There's no smoke and
There's no smoke.
mirrors. Like
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Like you can see my hands. I'll have 5 fingers. And I think I had a conversation earlier this morning actually with one of this founder guy as well, that a lot of, especially software and those kind of companies, a lot of the features can be copied because AI makes it very easy and lowers the barrier for it to be able to duplicate something, to recreate a feature. But what can't be duplicated is having that trust, having that build, having that community that is sticky. So I know in this, I'm just paraphrasing a lot of this stuff here because mainly it's like a little bit small on my screen. But I think the data really shows that people are craving that real, authentic experiences. Side note as well, one of the coolest content formats that I saw the other day was like somebody said, "Oh, I'm going to do this task without using AI." So it's just kind of like a proof that people are wanting
I'm gonna
that.
use my brain and figure this out.
Exactly.
Like,
They're
okay,
like I think that creating a 60-second speech that I'm going to present, but the rules are not using AI.
okay. See
So
that's a flex. I mean, you and I were
it
talking
is.
about this, I feel like you have that in you as well. Like I know that we leverage AI every now and then to, well, majority of the time to script out for content, but in that last example where you were basically at Expo West, like you didn't have ChatGPT to do it. Like you kind of whipped it up together. And for those of you that are entrepreneurs, founders, or even working in the agency, especially working in marketing, improv is one of the best skills that you could ever develop. Communication is one of the best things that you could ever develop. Even I sent my daughter to an improv camp over the summer because I was like, girl, if there's one skill that you need to learn, right? It's going to be learning how to communicate and share your thoughts and your ideas without without AI. I mean, it's crazy to think that people just like piggyback off of AI all the darn time. Yeah.
Exactly. I'll share a story too. This was from one of the most recent Margaritas in Mingle, where I remember, it was towards the end of the night, and I was just talking to a couple of different founders, business owners there, and one person like he pulled me aside and he was like, "Okay, so I want to learn more about what you guys do and stuff like that." And he was in a specific service that is very niche, and he was like, "What would you do in my situation?" So I started like laying down, okay, what are the contexts? Like, what do you currently have? What is your levers that you can pull? Let's build out a strategy live right there in the Pacific Beach hideaway bar, right? I was like laying him out, like, here's what I would do here. Like, you have connections with wealthy people in Rancho Bernardo, so I would do this, but then I will make content about this. I would live stream about this, and this is how you repurpose it. And I remember he was just amazed. It's like, oh wow, like your content doesn't really like show that side of you when you're being strategic and you talk about these different things. And I think that's the difference that makes a difference, as you would say, right? Like in terms of how do you demonstrate that you, like even without the crutch of AI, like how do you demonstrate that expertise? And I think
Yeah. You're so PC. Like shout out to James and Justin Brigado, because I'd be like, you got to learn how to talk the talk and learn how to walk the walk. Like you need to know your shit. And I feel like one of the things too is that when we have clients on camera, it's like, how do you not know your product? Like you need to know your product. If you're running paid ads, if you're doing, sell sheets and all of that other stuff, you need to know your stuff. And relying on AI, to put all of that stuff together. Like at some point, I'm like, Justin's in the comments, like, amen. See, you know what I'm talking about, Justin, right? It's like, I love AI and all of that good stuff, but I mean, what are you going to do? Like when you're at a networking event at Margaritas and Mingle, you're going to have like some Google Glass or Meta glasses, and you're like, how do I approach Justin? And it's like, well, let me know. What do I know about Justin? Because I follow him on social. When was the last time I spoke to him? When was the last time he came out to San Diego? Right? There's certain things that being human is still going to be what resonates with people, because at the end of the day, like people still like doing business with real people. And if you could show them how you think in real time, whether it's strategy and your case studies off the top of your head, and you're like, oh, you know what? That reminds me of this client, or hey, that reminds me of this event that we did. I feel like that's really what's going to help you as a business grow and scale. And then you could also, let's be honest too, I feel like a lot of people that are using AI to say like, oh, what's my mission, my vision, my values? And then you're at these networking events, you're like, so what is it that you do? And you're like, oh, what did ChatGPT say? And you're trying to regurgitate it. And like, you really have to test out your messaging and just be like, is this sticky enough for people to remember? Because if I go to an event, I need to know what my elevator pitch is. And I want to see the reactions from people. Like when we tell people, like, we take you from unknown to unfucking disputed, they're like, oh, what? Like, how do you do that? There's that curiosity that comes out of it. It's not stuffed with keywords of just like, oh, it's ayo, it's like, shut up. like at that point, jargon to me. Yeah, at that point, like my eyes are glazing over and I'm like, waiter, another drink, please. Cause I don't know like how much longer I could be in this conversation.
I think people just don't want to be deceived. That's kind of what it is. Everything want to be it's trust, right? Like I think it's like you said, like humans are still making the decision. They're still the one that's writing the check. So whatever, like business that you're in, whether you're in B2B, you're in local service, you're in CPG, like you just want something that's real. I had this conversation yesterday too with some a founder. I think they have some sort of CPG brand that they want to launch, and I think he was like thinking about doing this, AI UGC stuff like that. And I was like, dude, don't do that.
AI UGC. Okay, hold on a second. AI UGC is not a thing. UGC stands for what? User generated content. And then you're going to tell me you're going to have this fake ass person, a clone version of you doing product reviews. To me, that just screams you lack confidence in your own product, that you can't have real people do it. And that is another reason why, like, I love the men on the street interviews or word on the street videos that we do, is because we go out there with the mic and we're like, what do you think of this? Can you pronounce bakuchi oil? Do you put lotion on? I hope you're putting lotion on. All of that other stuff. But you're getting real reactions from people, not like this fake stuff. And I feel like at this point, like if you already have LinkedIn and it's having like this little identifier where you could say this is AI slop, eventually we're going to catch on and be like, this is AI, because this person has no pores, right? P.S. By the way, I have like a key light, so my skin is always, I've always been like this. People are like, all right, you're not AI. It's like, no, I'm not AI. But anyway.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
My rant. Don't do AI UGC.
Is terrible. I really think it's about, again, trust, right? Like, how do you make more people trust you? The more that people, you can almost like, showcase who you are. Like that's it. And then just show that you're actually good at what you do. That people just want that. Like, if you don't even know what pinpoints you're trying to solve without looking into Claude or ChatGPT, like,
well, yeah, and I still appreciate like peer groups and doing surveys and actually like, at Margaritas and Mingle, like you could walk around the room and like, okay, so what's happening in the real estate market right now? Like, what are your challenges? And actually hearing straight from people's mouths, because it's not like our peers, our friends don't know about AI. It's just, it's not working. You need to go out and talk to people,
People. That's it. Exactly.
Because by the way, if you're just tuning in, Justin, James, and the rest of the crew, if you have thoughts about AI UGC, I would love to know. If you're pro for it, let's fight in the comments, because how are we even friends? All right. Okay. So we talked a little bit about this and the reset to real. And I would even say that, I don't know about you, but in 2026, there are a lot of analog hobbies that people are doing these days because we're tired of the digital dopamine. We want that real human connection. And sometimes it's even just like me and my daughter in a crochet room, just crocheting with other people, just to be around other people. Yeah. Which I think is very helpful. Any thoughts about like this particular article and just like the reset to real?
Yeah, I think, again, real is something that you can't fake. That's by definition, right? So,
real is something let me remind you what real means, real people. Means, keeping it real means not being fake. And some of y'all need to be reminded of that.
Like, don't fake your skills. Don't fake your connections. Don't fake your scripts. Don't fake your product reviews.
Okay, let's talk about faking connections, because I crack the fuck up. I crack the fuck up when I scroll down on someone's page and it's like client testimonials. And that's like a stock image, because you and I are always like working with like stock footage or whatever, for like when we have to do mock-ups. And so when I see like a service-based business and they have testimonials and it's like, that's the same stock photo. I'm like, I've seen this person before. That is not John H. That is stock photo 008-1A on freaking Artlist.
Exactly. Yeah, like take your phone out, put on some microphone, or not, find a place that is quiet and just ask your customer, literally like, how do you think about the service? Would you recommend it? How do we do? Yeah. It's as simple as that, and you get the real reaction. Whether you use it or not, that's up to you. You can use it as a feedback if you want. Like if they're not happy, don't put it on your website, right? But like if they are happy, like that's the easiest thing that you can do and prove that it's real. Yeah. People just want to know it is real. I think there's so many movements out there. You've seen brands putting out real conferences with their CMOs speaking, right? Yeah. You've seen people, even like organizations putting like these impromptu meetups. Like I've been doing a lot of the run clubs, for example, right? That's a cool little meetup that people just join and just like over a specific hobby that people can just have fun and have a physical benefit to it. I think, again, it's real interactions, and like this is live stream. It is real. Like we don't have a script on top of this, behind this, trying to like read something. And I think that is a big moat that a lot of people need to leverage. A lot of brands need to leverage right now.
That's
it's
true.
Not that hard to leverage if you actually know what you're doing.
I mean, and let's be honest. Not a lot of people know how to run events, especially if you have a small marketing team. Like I feel like if you're a marketing manager in a big company, sometimes everything falls on you. You're managing the website, you're managing social media, now you're managing events. And in all honesty, those are three different skills. Those are three different skills on, especially when you're hosting an event, because you've got vendors, you've got logistics that you need to plan out. You're also thinking of the attendee experience. For sure. Right.
You want to talk about like how we did like Legacy Summit? I know we've done that a long time ago, but I feel like Yeah, how was your experience going through that? I know we hosted it together. Yeah.
Legacy Summit was amazing. It was one of those things where I'm still super happy about how it came together. I'm just gonna flex a little bit. Hold on a second, because your girl got Ecamm, so we're gonna do this. Boom. Okay, so, oh, stop it! It's Chef Claudia. Ah!
Hey, what's up?
Is it Claudia? Yeah, and Claudia was actually a part of this event. Okay,
He
so
was a part of it.
yeah, so back to that whole conversation of Legacy Summit. Client came to us and was like, hey, I want to put on this event. It's going to be in 60 days. You and I were literally sitting on a plane headed out to Bali. And you looked at me and you're like, do you think this is possible? And I was like, I mean, anything is possible. And so I feel like it was going to be a long flight. You took a nap. You woke up. I had this whole entire like XLS Google spreadsheet of just like, boom, here are the logistics. This is how we're going to do it. And I was like, okay, so what's next? I was like, we need to assemble the crew. This is like the Avengers. I'm like, who do I need to have on my team? And obviously, Chef Claudia Sandoval was definitely going to be that go-to because she knows events. I don't know
Shout
if
out.
you actually know this, but the first event that she and I did I ever tell you this?
Maybe.
So the first event that Claudia and I ever did, I met her because she called herself the head honcho. She was the head honcho for Instagrammers San Diego. And we would have these meetups where content creators that were like, they wanted to grow their Instagram. They really loved the art of photography. I feel like you would appreciate this because you started off with, I look down because you're down. Hi. I think you would appreciate that because, you started off with photography as well. So she hosted like these meetups and we would go to certain places in San Diego, like Sunset Cliffs or Coronado Ferry Landing. And she would gather all these people to do these, she says blast for the past. She would do these Instagram meetups. So when I was working on the Del Mar racetrack, right, where the turf meets the surf, we wanted to host kind of like this ancillary event. And we were going to do the world's, what was it, Claudia? I know you're in the comments. It was like the world's largest Insta meet. We were going for like a world record. And we as the agency, this was like back in the day, even with Berman, we pitched the idea to the client. And client was like, yeah, let's do it. And then I was like, okay, this is great. But who do I know? Not how, but who, right? Who do I know that could actually do this? And I hit up Claudia. Oh, Claudia, you were such like a badass bee because you were just like, who are you? What's going on? And like, she just handled the logistics. And then we actually got to host the world's largest Insta Meet at the Del Mar racetrack. So fast forward to this event, you're asking me on the plane to Bali. You're like, okay, so what's next? I was like, we need to assemble the crew. And I was like, I can't do this without Claudia because Claudia knows vendors, Claudia knows setups, Claudia knows contracts and insurance. I will forever be like, okay, cool. I'm great with promos and copy and all of that other stuff on social. But when it came to like on the ground logistics, remember, like that's a different skill. She was definitely the one that we leveraged. She was the one that looked at us and like, you guys need volunteers. And like, we need volunteers.
Yeah,
And
I
then we
remember
had
that.
some really cool ass people. We had Ava that stepped up, Jenny, even Noah hung out afterwards to
Yeah,
like help us break down. We had Junpei. But those weren't like strangers. Those were friends that came to Margaritas and Mingle.
correct. Yeah.
And they knew that we were hosting this event and they're like, how can I help? And I thought that was really cool. And so we got it done with this live event, sold out every seat in 60 days. It was a team effort. And I think it really helped us establish for that particular client as like, they don't just talk the talk, but they walk the walk. And he also shared the stage with other people on there. So we had Ava Brown, who knows about
Yep.
project management, because we were like, we need to have some queens in here. And then you got on stage and you talked about how they should be leveraging social media and content.
100%. Yeah. And I think people still talk about it till today. I still have people that in my race are like, oh yeah, remember that one time when we did Legacy Summit at Veloce Motors? And I think even though if that was what 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago
Yeah.
now, and people still remember it because it was such a cool experience. And I remember one of my favorite things I remember. Shout out to Claudia as well. when we had our own signature drink.
Oh,
That
that
was
was
like
so
so cool.
cool.
I was like,
Oh, I love
I
that.
love every single part of it. It tastes really
Oh my God,
good.
I can't believe I didn't even put
Um,
that in the write-up. Claudia, I'm going to do a new case study for us. That was the coolest thing. She literally said,
yeah.
like, so are you guys going to have like a signature drink? Do you remember the names of it? Claudia, if you're still there in
I
the
think
comments.
it's like cash flow elixir or something like that.
Oh,
And then yeah, it was really, really cool. I could be wrong, but everybody talked about it. Everybody loved it. And it's like that's she's amazing at that.
she
So
was so
that's
good. You know what was
so
funny? I feel like even after we debriefed, she looked at us and she looked at us and she's like, your people don't drink. I was like, really? She's like, yeah. She's like, at our events, like all the bottles would be empty. And she's like, your people
yeah.
don't drink. And I was like, oh, maybe it's because they're like parents or it was like in the middle of the week or whatever. But she was just like,
Yeah.
she was surprised. And we are like, oh, I never took that into consideration, but good to know. So maybe next
It was
time.
free too. It was like a free tab. So it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah, that was cool. We totally had a signature drink. Hat tip to Chef Claudia. Cool.
yeah,
All
I
right.
think who's what makes or break that event, and then just that, assembling the Avengers. That's
Yeah. I mean, especially when you have people that go to the event and now other people are sharing what is it that you do, who do you serve, and how you can help them. And whether or not like they walked away saying like I'm signing up for this mastermind or whatever, they would either do it for themselves or if they know someone down the line, it's like, oh, you know what? I actually heard so and so on stage talk about this, or I met someone at this event. And I feel like these days in 2026, it's really about can you curate something that people definitely want to show up for? Because you're right, people can always go to AI and ask a question and get some generic response. But if you can tell a story from your own lived experience, then that's going to be really cool. Because I'm dead ass going to tell you that AI isn't going to say that you should have a signature drink. You only get that from Claudia. Oh, what is this? Oh, we had the cash cam. Oh my gosh. Okay, what was the cash cam? Do you remember?
it was. I, I think it was
It was the
the
360
camera,
selfie
360.
camera.
Yes, and then we threw the money. I had the cash cam, have a 360 camera on it. It was. I remember like seeing all the videos. It was so
That was
awesome.
really cute. That was really cute. We had the cash cam. People came in. They had the food. They had the signature drinks. Obviously, if you don't know what Veloci Motors is, that's where you're going to find like the Lambos, the Maseratis, all those. We had some really nice luxury cars. It was definitely, it was peak.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. So we have this over here is the reality flywheel. Do you want to cover off this a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. I think as we're thinking about like how do we even get there, right? Like I feel like to fill a room of 300 people and a little bit more, technically our capacity was 300. I feel like we accepted like a lot more than that. Like how do you create something that feeds itself? And Stephanie, you and I have worked together on this with all of our clients is creating at different levels of what they need in this flywheel. So where it all comes together, really, that's kind of where all the first thing is having that content, right? Like the content that we create will start feeding and building that community online digitally. Because I think it's a lower lift, it's highly leveraged. You can post a video, you get 100 views, you can get 10,000 views. That's still like a million views sometimes. And that becomes the foundation of what built the brand as a whole, because now they see it on their screen. Then you can get into the next step, which is, again, building more into that reality phase of it. Like, where is that content going to lead to? And then that could be something like this, where we do the live stream. You start to get to know us, see that we're real. Like, we can talk about stuff with 10 fingers. You know what I mean? I think you have done this a lot, Stephanie, like for over the years with live streams. And you know how powerful it is at creating that relationship with anybody really that shows up, right? Whether that being your ideal customers, friends, whoever. And that's kind of where it start leading into, okay, once we kind of have that trust digitally, then how do we bring back in person, face to face? Because I think seeing us here versus when you see you, me, and Claudia hanging out, that's a whole different energy, right?
Oh, that's a whole
And
different vibe. You, me, and Claudia in a room, like prepare yourselves.
Right. And that's kind of where the next step would be, like where we can start thinking about experiences, whether it's something simple like come to do a little networking mingling or little workshops, right? Like that's where that in-person experience become very pivotal. And you're not starting from zero, right? If you didn't have the foundations of the content of the things that you do beforehand, it might be a little bit harder to build that room because you don't have the connections, you don't have the who, and you don't have really the credibility. And once you kind of have that in-person experiences, when it goes into that community that feeds on itself, start telling you about like, oh, I'm curious about this. You should make this. You should make that. And I think having this live stream is an idea that we've been talking about for a while, and a lot of people have been asking us questions of like wanting to hear more about how we think about what are really cool when it comes to things that are going on in the industry. And that's why we're doing it. So I think that's kind of the flywheel of how we think through how to build trust really at scale. So
yeah, it's
what
so
are your
funny.
thoughts, Stephanie?
I feel like oftentimes like clients will come with us and like, I just want to create content. And it's like, I know that's what present you is saying right now. But I think as strategists, we have to think bigger for our clients. Oh, this is why I keep this on my desk. So clients will come and be like, I want to create content. I'm like, I know you want to create content, but eventually, what do you want to do with that content, right? Do you want to create workshops, masterminds, books, keynotes? Because eventually you don't want to keep working and creating content. So how do you create a legacy that you could pass on, right? So eventually, if you're creating like a deal calculator or this or that, and you know how to overcome objections in your specific niche, eventually that becomes your trademark, or that becomes your intellectual property. So definitely leverage your short form content as a great way for you to experiment with those ideas, see what actually catches on with attention. Like shout out to Adam from Cherry Pick Capital, who just knocked out 2.3 million views on like the best RV parks for national parks. And like, once we saw that, we're like, okay, we're going to create more content around this. And so knowing that short form video got 2.3 million, that gives us more ammo to basically say, we should do a webinar. We should do a long form video. And if that really resonates with people, then let's create basically our own ebook, our workbook, or that could even just be like his own keynote signature talk. Again, going on with that idea, like short form content is really there for you to experiment and like reach a broader audience. But what are you building to kind of like build that legacy and that empire? That's where we come in.
Right. And I would say too, like depending on what any kind of products that you sell. I think Adam from Cherry Pick is a great example, one of our clients, how he's a fund, right? It's financial services and a fund. And the people that wants to invest in his fund invest in, the hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Seeing one short form video for 60 seconds, it's not gonna make someone want, yes, this is my first time meeting you. I'm gonna give you $100,000, right? Like it just doesn't happen. Like I wouldn't do that. If there's anybody that like knows how to do that, just let me know, because they can send me $100,000 after watching 60 seconds of my work, right? So I think you also got to think about like how much level of trust do you need to build to be able for someone to convince them on their own terms of wanting to work with them, right? So if you're selling a solution that is, $10, $50, $100,000, then what kind of how much level of trust do you need to embed within them through all these different aspects to be able to, when they get on the call, they'll be like, okay, I'm ready because I've been watching your stuff, going through your events, whatever that is. So I think that's something that people think about, like when they hear about content, especially short form, they're like, okay, like you're telling me one video can give me 1 million views, and then out of that 1 million views, people are gonna just want to sign up right away, right? Well, your solution is like $5,000. It's like you got to get approved budgets for that. And if you don't, if I'm only watching a video for 60 seconds, how is that going to build my case to be able to do that? So it's something interesting that I think a lot of brands and companies are not really thinking about, of how long is your sales cycle? How much your solution actually costs, and how much trust do you need to build with them? And that's kind of how we come up with this flywheel to be able to navigate that tactically on what you need to do to increase that, depending on.
Yeah, I feel like I'm such a fire sign, because my brain just went TLDR, content compounds, right?
Right.
And a lot of times people are going to have like their own decision-making strategy, and one short form video isn't going to convince them. Sometimes they have to hear it from a third party source, or sometimes they just want to see like, are you fully dedicated to this particular industry? You know, because maybe you just got like your Udemy certification last night.
Right.
And like, I want to know that your roots run deep and you know how to navigate different situations and kind of go from it there. But before we move on, shout out to the crew that's tuning in. I love seeing you guys here. If you're tuning in, drop us a comment. Let us know where you're tuning in from. If you're creating content, all that jazz. Do you want to talk a little bit about Salesforce too?
I'll do it. Yeah. And also, for those of you who are tuning in, we're going to do this every week at the same time. So if y'all have any ideas of what we want us to cover, how we've been doing certain things, drop it in the comments, because we're going to take your suggestions. This is the community part of it. We want to create something that will be valuable for you guys. And yeah, I'll be there next time. Ask us any questions depending on what we talked about. And you have hang out with us for about an hour a week. It'll be kind of cool. Yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about this, because Salesforce, as you all know, are a big brand, B2B, very traditional in the way of like tech side and the software side. But they released something as of last year called Salesforce Plus, which is kind of like a Disney Plus in a way, but for like, tech folks, like people in this industry. But what I'm really like interested about is, I know this, so if you are not familiar, Salesforce is a platform that really helps a lot of big B2B businesses when it comes to anything that from CRMs and all that different tracking management stuff. So they typically host something called Dreamforce every year, which is a big conference where they have a lot of speakers, some of their team members come to talk, and a lot of people in the industry really go to that conference. It become like a signature conference in San Francisco, Silicon Valley area. And what's really awesome is like with the Salesforce Plus that they released, it allows more people who couldn't attend Dreamforce to witness their speakers online through a live stream. And they stream this during the couple of days that they're doing the conference. And they're really like, if you think about the genius behind this, like their ticket for this conference is at least like $1,000 plus, around that area. And it might not be accessible from everybody from around the world or whoever, because they serve really the global audience. And by having these Salesforce Plus, they're able to just create their reach a lot wider while still getting that trust to build with them, because it is a real event, right? It's an in-person event that they have been able to leverage using an online and digital component. So what's really fascinating about it is that they have their pillar event, which is Dreamforce, has been known in the industry as the pillar. Like, you got to go to this if you want to meet really cool CTOs, CMOs, like or founders from really like the tech space. But really, they wanted to double down on that by making it accessible for a lot more people to experience that realness for them, because they know that if you were to stream this 3 days, right, in on their screen and actually gain value out of it, the trust that you are building with them as a solution would just gone through the roof. So it's a very interesting and really, really cool play that they're doing. And they've streamed other workshops they've done, really with the goal of making it more accessible for people to see this real interaction with them and their team. So very cool.
I love it. It's definitely a smart thing to do. Oh, hey, look, Ryan's in the house. Ryan Baggett. Hey, let's go. Ryan, P.S., by the way, shout out to the team, because I was hitting them up when I was building a chatbot for one of our other clients. So you guys are the best. Chatbot builder. Go check them out. But to your point, yeah, I feel like SaaS brands in general, like if you could host an in-person event and have people really get to know you, your team, feature your customers, feature your case studies, all of that is a really great experience to have. And if you could actually put your C-level executives on stage too, that's a game changer. I mean, there's a reason why Apple was the first one to really do this, right? Yeah. Put that out there and start streaming it live and with their product launches and all of that other stuff. And so now you're seeing other brands follow suit. I'm not saying that you have to be a big, huge tech brand in order to do this. You just saw us, or you just heard us talk about how we did this for Legacy Summit. We said no one has put on a real estate investment conference for ADUs in San Diego before, to the vision that we wanted to do it. Like, yes, some people would do it like at a downtown convention center, all of that other jazz, but we wanted something more intimate, because if you could curate a community. I mean, I remember Junpei. That was like the first time I met him too.
In
And
person, yeah.
Junpei, yeah. So going back to, let me see if I still have it up. Going back to Legacy Summit, the way that we structured the pricing was we had VIP seating, because we said, like, if you want to be up close and personal with the speakers, right? Because if you wanted to meet Thatch, you're like, you had front and center. And Junpei was like, that's me. Because he's a big believer in that there is power in proximity. And so he was like front and center, bought the VIP ticket, which also gave them exclusive access to our speakers. And so I think, don't limit yourself to thinking that you have to be a big SaaS brand in order to get this done, because when there's a will, there's definitely a way to getting it done.
That's right. That's right. Exactly.
Cool. Something that I actually want to add, because it behooves us to talk about this, is we actually have our own event coming up. Do you want to talk through this a little bit?
We are, yeah. So we're having an in-person workshop coming up on Friday, August 21st.
I'm going to fix
So
this one
if you,
second.
oh,
Go ahead.
look at this big old QR code.
Yep.
If you guys are a local service business in the trades, construction companies, landscaping, turf installation, and wanted to learn more about really how you can turn your content into a sales generating machine, come through and hang out with us. Lunch will also be provided. So we only have limited spots, only 20, and you have to get approved to get into the workshop. But it's going to be one of our pillar workshops that we're going to start hosting a lot more of, as a company here. So
Yes.
very excited.
So if you're in the trades, save the date, Friday, August 21st, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Obviously, I'm Filipino, so you know that you're going to get fed. But definitely show up, because we're going to throw it down. We're going to show you basically how we were able to create content like this for our clients. If you don't know, we have things called production days where we film over 3 months of content for our clients. And so if you're the type of person where you're like, hey, I know that I'm on site and I'm not leveraging or creating those testimonials that Brandon and Stephanie have been talking about, this is your opportunity to join us to basically learn how content that converts. And we're going to give you a up close and personal on basically our system, not just the ideas itself. And of course, Brandon is going to be leading the charge with it. Yay, Brandon. And so if you feel like you're too busy, you don't know what to say, obviously we'll walk you through that whole entire process. Brandon has definitely shared his knowledge with other head honchos in the community, such as Rich Summers, the San Diego Asian Business American Association, all that jazz. I'm gonna give him his flowers, as they say, and kind of go from there. But again, if you guys are just tuning in, we've been talking about the reality flywheel, in how if you're creating content, obviously AI makes it so much easier for people to create content. But the difference that makes the difference is going to be your stories, your human experience, who you are, because that's really what's going to resonate. I think one of the things too about these communities and these events is that when you're able to light up somebody else's neurology, like what they see, hear, taste, all of that other stuff, like if you're serving food or drinks, the signature drinks, right? That creates a deeper psychological bond than it is just kind of like the digital slot machine when people are just kind of like scrolling through social media and all of that other stuff.
Exactly. And I think there's a place for it, right? Like just talking about that workshop that we're having, like breaking down the how we are planning it. Before even we have to conceptually like get the idea of what is going to be the topic we're going to talk about. What is the length? Where is the venue? Right? And then creating now the promotional strategy. How do we going to promote this? And we are going to leverage digital channels for sure, which is LinkedIn, Instagram, all of the above. But also, remember talking about the who, we also have a lot of partners that we are going to work with, like the Building Industry Association, other partners that we've created Margaritas and Mingle with together, right? So really coming into it, there's a lot of moving pieces. And that's the difference that makes a difference, because we are crafting this experience. Like you've seen us in a live LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever you guys are, you've seen us, our content, and now you get to meet us in person as we showcase to you, here's how, and with a value too, like, hey, here's how you can get home and have these checklists and have these really, okay, I know exactly what I need to do so I can leverage content to get more clients, get more leads, get more projects. That is the difference that not a lot of people can copy.
For sure. Again, often imitated, never duplicated.
That's right.
Great. So again, if you're just tuning in, a shout out to Ryan, to Sue, to Claudia, to James. Dang, y'all showed up. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. As Brenda had mentioned before, we're going to do these every Wednesdays from 10 to 11. So if you just want to like shoot the about what's going on in content and all of that other jazz, or just kind of like stay in touch with us, definitely. Suann says, your flywheel is flying. That's right. Hold on. Let me get this. It's flying. We should probably find our own song to do that. I'm sure you could probably hop on and get that done. But shout out to Suann. Suann is absolutely amazing. She's a great writer, y'all. So if you're looking for someone that can help your product, just kind of leap off of the page. If you're looking for someone to help pull stories out of you, she's really great at doing that. She's been doing this for for as long as I could possibly remember. She's super talented. I know that she's really been supportive of me too. So if you're looking for a writer, she's definitely one that you should reach out to as well. Cool. Brandon, anything else that you want to add? We've got a good 8 minutes.
Yeah, I think just kind of like recapping what we talked about. And I'm curious to hear your thoughts too. I think as AI will make it very easy for features to be duplicated or content to be replicated. You've seen formats that you probably have seen so many times before because it works, right? Or scripts that might be sounding the same because people can just generate them using Claude or ChatGPT. That's kind of where your expertise and the difference that who you are is going to make biggest most. That's why a lot of times when we've been scripting for our clients, like we try to figure out tell me about you and what you believe in and what your frameworks, how you think, because that's what's going to make it different. Right?
Yeah.
That's not going to be like any other standard cookie cutter type of content out there. And when you compare that with that in-person experience, now you're real, now you can meet them. The more that you think, a good question to be a good question to always ask yourself, I would say, is how do I prove to people that I actually know what I'm talking about with least resistance as possible, in a way of how can I demonstrate my expertise like this and my own thoughts and my own opinions out there, whether it's being through a smaller networking event, a conference, a convention for if you're a big brand, or as simple as a live stream like this, right? It's very easy to do. I think there's a lot of different ways that you can do it. But if you can think about it as how can I build more trust with more people so they can come inbound, wanted to do business with me, wanted to connect with me and whatnot, that's the right question. What are your thoughts, Stephanie?
I love that. I mean, obviously I'm a big fan of live streaming. I feel like whenever I get clients, they're like, I saw your live stream. I saw your video. I'm like, okay, so you know who I am. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to tell you if your stinks, right? I'm going to tell you hey, we could get this done in 30, 60, 90 days. And I feel like clients really appreciate that because they kind of know what they're getting themselves into. I feel like even for us, I'm definitely the type of person where here are my expectations as your strategic partner. What are your expectations as far as what you're looking for in an agency? And I always tell clients, first off, is communication is going to be essential. If I'm sending you videos and scripts and this and that, I need you to be forthcoming as far as what you liked, what you didn't like, what you want to improve, because we're helping you build, again, this content empire. I want to know what you're thinking, how you feel, or even if you're getting feedback from people. I even love when clients are just kind of hey, can we do this with me standing on a ladder? And I was like, what? I was like, why? Brandon, why is Isaac standing on a ladder? You're it gets the comments going. And I was like, okay, behind the keyboard strategist, I'm like, okay, we'll see how it works. And it actually worked. You guys did a really good job in hitting that out of the park.
A video got 80,000 views?
80,000 views, yeah.
Something
well
that, yeah.
done.
And it's still climbing. Just crazy.
Good. So we'll be back again here Wednesday, 10 a.m. Pacific time. Obviously, if you're not already following us on social media, if whatever caption you're looking at or wherever you found us, make sure that you follow us. In the future, I'll be more prepared. I'll set up a little chatbot builder so we could build out our calendar. But if you want to go ahead and just take action now, it's going to be every Wednesday, 10 a.m. Pacific time. Yep. If you already have questions about like content and how to leverage it for your business, whether it's short form, long form, live streaming, live in-person events, all that jazz, feel free to drop them in the comments. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay, let us know. Yeah. I'll hop back in there and show you guys some love. We'll kind of go from there. Yeah.
That's right. We'll be back here, and if you're all watching the replay, comment what you guys want to see for next time or next week's.
Yeah. And also let us know what you thought about the Odyssey. Because next what we're going to watch is Spider-Man. Don't spoil it for me. But I guess next episode we'll do a metaphor for Spider-Man as well and kind of go from there. And then last but not least, let me go back. Is it this one? It's this one. Again, if you're going to be in San Diego, if you're in the trades, right? If you are looking for a way to learn how to leverage your on-site appointments and start turning into content, whether you're a general contractor, remodelers, all that jazz, you guys can read the screen. Come and hang out with us. It's going to be Friday, August 21st. Obviously, space is limited. There's a QR code for you right there. I'll go back into the comments and give you the website. If I forget, you could yell at me in the comments and then I'll be reminded to do that. And we could kind of go from there. All right, B, anything else that you'd like to share with the crew?
And that's it. I think, again, this is our first one of many. I love doing this. I think it's super fun talking with Stephanie and just really seeing what's in our industry, what's in our mind, because I feel like a lot of people, number one, don't really know how we think, don't really know how we approach problems with our clients. And really, like, this is one of those things. Like, this is one of the things that we've been thinking about, just like, how do we make things real? And that's why, like, I think AI can't copy that realism,
AI can't do that. All right, friends. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. We will catch you next week on Wednesday, 10 a.m. Pacific time. If you're watching the replay, leave the comment, hashtag replay. We'll give you guys a nice shout out and we'll go from there. All right, y'all. Thanks so much. Bye for now.